All right, hello, boys and girls, ladies and gents. How are we all doing? What an exciting day it's been. Day before the transfer windows ended. Lots and lots of potential deals either happened or going to happen tomorrow. I've got my phone on here now. Oh, there you go. Just in case Tim Spears or Tim Nash gives us any sort of updates now in the next hour while we're on. But yeah, I asked the question just before going live. Who's been the best signing of this transfer window so far? Mikesh has gone for Rui. Matt has said Dendoncker, even though we haven't seen him yet in a Wolves shirt. He hasn't actually been officially announced as a Wolves player, but it sounds as if that deal is going to go through. He was spotted at Compton at the end of the day today. And he can play centre midfield and he can play right centre back, which, as we all saw last week against Villarreal, that was a bit of a problem area because Sace didn't really fit in, there, and then Bennett coming on, he was okay, but whether he's going to cope in the Premier League. Yeah, Dendoncker was spotted earlier on in Compton, being shown around by Laurie Dalrymple. Apparently, Nuno came and Josh Power, the media man, turned up as well. This was not from a very reliable source. I'm not sure who it was. It was a very grainy, pixelated sort of picture on Twitter, but it seems as if that is a deal that's going to happen. Tim Spears has said that it's pretty much going to go through there, about 12 million. And he was linked with Manchester United last year, so he's a really, really highly rated player. Let's have a look. If Zinchenko signs, where do you think he will play? Well, we're lacking a little bit depth in the wing back position, so whether he might come in and play left back and Johnny can move over to his more favoured right hand side. So we'll have to wait and see with that. But you can also play in centre mid, probably a little bit more of an attacking minded centre mid than Neves and Moutinho, which is a good option to have. If we sign the lad from PSG, the left back, which we seem to be in for, does that mean that Vinagre will go out on loan and Johnny and Doc will be right back? I'm not sure. I don't know anything about this PSG player. I know that Kawaza. Yes, I've seen the link. I've seen the rumor, but whether or not it will actually happen, I don't know. I think he can be quite a bit of a. I think there's been a couple of disruptive moments in his time at PSG. I'm not sure. I don't know anything about him at all. And to be honest, I don't know a lot about Dendoncker, and I don't know a lot about Zinchenko either. But I know a little bit more about Zinchenko, having watched him play a couple of times last year. But Dendoncker, from what I know about him, as in where he can play, I think he's what we need. He can play centre back, he can play centre mid, and as it's been said in quite a few videos by Tim Spears and Nathan Judah, they sort of look for players who can play in a number of positions, that versatility. And that's what we're getting now with Dendoncker. And also Traore can play across that front three, as can Cavallero, Costa, and Jota, and Jimenez and Bonatini can all fill in those front three roles. Now we've got a few players who can do that across the middle and the back as well. So it's that's really good. If I send you a jersey from the best team in Portugal, would you put it in the wall? What's the best team in Portugal? I'll put it on the wall, yeah. How many signs do you expect? Spears says at least. Well, what Tim Spears says, so if we're not counting Dendoncker and Zinchenko as done deals, there'll be those two tomorrow, hopefully. And then Tim Nash said about said about a marquee signing, which I don't think either of those two really qualify as. I'd say that it'd be an enormous signing, something that's going to shock us, and something maybe that player from PSG that somebody mentioned earlier on, or maybe I don't know, somebody like a Rashford. That's not going to happen now. He's been given the number 10 at Man United and stuff like that. It's not going to be him, but somebody of a similar ilk, perhaps. That'd be spectacular. And not that I was feeling worried, but I think people knew that we needed to add in a couple of positions before the end of the transfer window. And if we make the signings of Dendonka and Zinchenko, then we've covered all the bases. And then that's it. That's so look now. If you get the answer correct, I'll send you an official 2018-19 season. You only have 2 chances. Right, well, I'm going to guess Porto then. That's my first guess. Dendonka is to play centre back. He's excellent there. He's going to be an amazing signing. Apparently, the marquee signing is a striker. I've heard as well that it could well be Andre Silva. I think quite a few people said that could happen late in the transfer window, and you can't get much later than tomorrow, obviously. Moses on loan. I don't think that's going to happen. Shiv, it's been mentioned by a couple of people, but I can't see it happening really. Spears is love. Spears is life. Definitely isn't Silva or that other Portuguese guy. Oh, that Gelson Martins, is it, or Guides? I'm going for blackcurrant squash, by the way, this week, not orange squash like last week. Man City have confirmed Zinchenko arriving at Compton tomorrow ahead of medical and agreeing personal terms. He's gone to Atletico. Who's that? Porto for real, man. Haha, no. Well, I imagine then it must be Benfica by that answer. Silva has been reported to negotiating a move to the Premier League. I've heard that as well from, I can't remember the source, but I've seen it. Love my squash, very sweet, Shiv. I think we should sell Sace. Good play, but we don't need him once we sign Zinchenko. I don't agree with that, Michael, purely because they're different. Do you mean Dendonka, perhaps? I can't see Sace being sold anyway. I think the depth of the squad is really, really good at the moment. CD Nacional. Amazing. Well, if you're willing to send me a shirt to theirs, I'll put it up on the wall, but amazing. I'd even wear it. I love random shirts like that. Brilliant. Crazy amount of money spent by Wolves. Yeah, I didn't really realise until today that because you sort of forget about Bolly and Jota and Bonatini, all those sort of adding up as well. It was crazy, really, but we've spent 50 odd million. It could be up to as close as 200 million by the end of tomorrow. It'd be amazing. Manuel, I'll speak to you afterwards on Twitter or something. Have a look on my Twitter and send me a DM. Dendonka will start right back. Do you mean right centre back, Brian? There. Wolves have made bargains after bargain. Meanwhile, Chelsea willing to waste 80 million on a goalkeeper that I've never heard of. It's true. There's a lot of other Premier League teams have spent more than us and have gone on, and we're building for the future, and that's always been the case with Fosun, that we've bought in young players to improve them in the knowledge that we may sell them off in the future, but for a profit. But we're here to improve them and to get that better, get them better. Spears has said no more after Zin and Den. Possibly. Jimenez and Jota can both play up front, and think Traoré after Nuno drills him into it. Yeah, I think that somebody put on Twitter earlier on all the different possible combinations now that we can play up front, and it's frightening the amount of pace and the amount of skill and quality that we've got up in that first in that front three is unbelievable. Really, I'd be it's a little bit frightening. I can't. I really can't wait until Saturday now. It feels like the summer's gone very, very quickly because of the World Cup, and then only 9 days between the World Cup final and then the Stoke pre-season friendly, which I went to. So it's been a short summer in that respect, but it's been a long, long time since watching the Wolves play. The 6th of May. So it's been 3 months, really, and yeah, it's going to be very, very exciting on Saturday. Apparently, they've spent £10,000 on fireworks, and there's going to be is it Tomahawk plane, something like that, going across, doing flyover. It's going to be a massive, massive beginning to the game. Oh, excuse me. So hopefully they can keep that up. I reckon Jota could do a job up top with Costa and Cav on the wings or Traore. What about his mascot, the Boiler Man? It's good. Well, it's quite funny, really, because as a marketing thing, everybody's talking about it, aren't they? So it's working as a thing for the company that is, but it's none of our business, is it? We do. It's a bit laughable, really. It's quite interesting how Albion went down feeling very, very confident, and now after 2 games, they're seeming to be struggling a little bit. Right, let's have a look at this then. So, what's your starting 11 for Saturday? So, Patricio in goal, no doubt about that. I think Cody will start in the middle, regardless of any other signings that come in at the moment. I think he's definitely going to start. Bolly as the left centre back, Dendonka possibly as the right centre back if he comes in. But bear in mind, he'll only be training on Friday, so that's a little bit of a concern. Perhaps maybe stick with Bennett for Saturday. I think that's something to be to question. I think is who starts in that position if we do bring in Dendonka, because there's only going to be 1 day of training, unless he trains tomorrow, perhaps as well. So Doherty right back, Johnny left back. Again, if Zinchenko comes in tomorrow, does Johnny move over straight away? Does Doherty just leave out of the team? I mean, Neves and Moutinho in the middle, and then I don't think Traore is fit at the moment, so it's just that the normal front three that we used to over pre-season in Costa and in who the others, Jimenez and Jota. Did I say Jota twice then? Costa's the other one. Hi Zane. Troy looks like he could run through a brick wall. I'd never realised how enormous he looks. He looks like an absolute tank. He's enormous. I find it hilarious as well how often the Jackson brothers are turning up. It's crazy. Just heard on Talk Sport we've signed someone. Didn't catch who it was. Is anybody here? I'll just refer to my Twitter. No, nobody. Right, Dendonka's right-footed, so I expect him to play in the Bolly role, but Bolly plays on the left. What are your thoughts on the stadium situation? Well, I did make a video about this on Sunday, I think it was, when it all broke. Again, I don't want to take a side at the moment because there is no side to take, because there's not there isn't anything set in stone about whether or not Wolves are going to build a new stadium or not. But when that time comes, I'll pick a side and stick with it. But well, I don't know about pick a side. You have to. If Fosun decide to build a new stadium, you can't argue against it. But I think from what the club have said, that leaving Molineux is an absolute last resort. So I'm fairly happy with that. I think possibly the news on Sunday was to try and force the council's hand about letting them own various bits of land. So, or buying the land around Molineux, the Carillion car park and the Asda maybe, perhaps, and little parts of the Waterloo Road. It's an interesting time, but we'll see. I would love to stay in Molineux. However that can be done, we'll see. Neves, Vinagre, Morgan Gibbs, White, and Bright don't have to be named in our 25-man squad due to them being born after the 1st of January 1997, so they're classed as under 21s. Is that the case for Neves as well? Because Neves is 21 now, isn't he? I could be wrong there. You might be right. We're linked with Lavin Kuzawa. That's the PSG one, isn't it? So yeah, I reckon Billy Wood expanded. Pretty new if you think about it. Is that you mean the Billy Wright stand? Well, they're all fairly new. The North Bank that was knocked down in 2011 had only been completed in 1992, so it wasn't even 20 years old, and they demolished that without any real need to. There was no demand in terms of the capacity of the ground. But the stand that he's doing the most is the Steve Bull. If you look at it from the outside, it looks horrible. The brick walls all look dirty and disgusting and stuff. And apparently, I haven't been in there for years, but apparently the concourse and stuff is very, very difficult to navigate. So it definitely needs changing as soon as possible. Can you all just drop a like as well on the stream? Let's get some more people in here. Thank you very much. Neves is 21, but he's born on March 1997. Okay, right. This has been a dead transfer window. Yeah, there's been a lot of long periods of nothing happening, but all of a sudden in the last couple of days, it's just exploded. I think the interesting team to look at is Tottenham because they've made absolutely no signings whatsoever. I know they've been linked heavily with Grealish today, but it's I don't know. It's very, very strange for Tottenham, I think, to be in the position that they are in at the moment. Should we sign Shane Long if it was 2012? Yes, but it's not. I feel sorry for the fullbacks who would have been chasing Costa and Jota for 70 minutes, only to then face a fresh Cav and Traore. Fantastic options to have. Good point there, Tom. I think if you think about how effective Cavaleiro was through lots of last season, only playing him for I can't remember many times where he played a whole 90 minutes. So to have Traore as well, who's really fast and really powerful coming on, is amazing. Do you think Villa's refusal to sell Grealish is unethical? Well, it's a bit of a grey area, isn't it? Because he signed a contract with them. They want to get their money's worth from him. Perhaps Tottenham are not offering what they want. I don't know. It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one when it comes to football players, whether it's unethical or not, because all Grealish can just refuse to play and refuse to train and stuff, and then he'll leave in January then. Who do you think will depart tomorrow? I think that depends on who comes in. I think there's that bomb squad, the infamous bomb squad, that needs to go. If you think about how big that is as well, and what I sort of like to think about occasionally is thinking about that would have been our first team had Fosun not come in and had Nuno not come in. We'd have been watching Ebanks Landell and we'd have been watching Conor Ronan. Not that I like Conor Ronan a lot, but those type of players, Iorfa, Gladden, all those players would have been our first team had Fosun not come in, had Nuno not come in. It's quite spectacular. Should we sign Lee Griffiths? No. We should sign Jorak Hunt from Lazio. I don't know who he is. Matt Doherty deserves his chance in the Premier League. Sadly, I think that he lacks the required quality. No room for sentiment. I've been really critical of Doherty a lot over the last few years because particularly in this system, the number of times he gets down the wing and doesn't put effective balls in it really frustrates me. But I've backed him this season to improve that and to become one of our key players this season, or our underrated players. If anybody listened to the Wolves fancast yesterday, I was asked to record a little bit alongside the other Talking Wolves people, and that was that opinion on the lack of English players at Wolves. It did concern me a little bit. Somebody put up a possible starting 11 for Saturday, and there's only Connor Cody in there. It There's part of me that thinks, well, if that's what it takes to be successful, then that's what it takes. But I don't know. There's part of me. I really want Morgan Gibbs White to succeed and Ryan Giles to succeed. There's all of that little group there of young players coming through at the moment who I really want to be part of the team, perhaps in 5, 6, 7 years' time when they're in the peak of their powers. But they're gonna have to, they're gonna have to keep up with us really, and that's the difficult thing. But Fosun are interested in signing the best young English players as well as just the best young players. So it's very it's a tricky one at the moment. There was an AC Milan lad we were linked to, Frank something. I'm not sure about that shit. Andre Silva. We've had years of Wolves playing English players. What have we won with the likes of Roger Johnson? O'Hara just ripped us off. Let the Portuguese boys put us on the map, I say. Where do you sit? The Molyneux sit in the Billy Wright up just behind the director's box and the media. What are they called? Press. I don't know who your cunt is. Sorry, Harry. Frank Kessie. We've been linked with him, haven't we, over the last couple of days. I think he's another defender or defensive midfielder, but a massive price tag. I mean, I'm not the best person to be asking these questions to. I openly admit that I don't know. I don't play Football Manager as I used to when I was in university, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Would have loved Barry Douglas. Yeah, it's difficult. Again, similar to what somebody just mentioned about Doherty, but not having the quality to make it in the Premier League. We've had this conversation last week about Douglas. He's a very, very good Championship player, and yeah, I don't know. It's a shame. I think Barry Douglas, but he's a Championship player, definitely. Poor Pogba. It's so cold in the West Brom Stadium they had to get a boiler. Does the window close at midnight? No, it closes at 5 o'clock tomorrow. Grealish, 3 goals, 5 assists. Traore, 5 goals and 10 assists. And Villa say Traore has no end product. As a body. Blackburn squash, yes. Ryan Bennett. Ryan Bennett is. I think he's really underrated. I think last year as well, he particularly in that spell when Roger Miranda first went out of the team in around about October time after the QPR defeat, and then Bennett came in for a really long spell up until February, the end of February when he dropped out after the Fulham game. I think that was a bit harsh, though. He made one error in that game, and then so Irish people hate Grealish. That is right. After didn't he play for them all the way up, all through the age groups up until senior level, and then decided he was English, and he's never going to get anywhere in the English team, is he? He's not good. Well, he's all right at the Championship level, but I think he'll get found out in the Premier League, and he wants to play in the Champions League or whatever. He's not good enough. But anyway, why are we talking about Jack Grealish so much tonight? Really pleased with the signings we made. It looks class, definitely mid-table or even higher. Zinchenko can play left back and mid and right. Everybody's having a little chat to Dave as a party. Nice. Somebody just asked me, favourite Wolves deadline day signer of all time. I can't remember us signing anybody in the past. I always remember waking up on deadline day, expecting us to have been linked to somebody or to have signed somebody. I think we signed Marcus Bent 1 year on deadline day on loan. I think that's about as good as it got. That's about as good as I can remember. Dream 20 goal player from the Prem. Whatever. I'd have Thierry Henry. Dendonker and Zinchenko, what are your thoughts? Amazing business. Yeah, well, I don't know a lot about those two players individually, which I've mentioned before. But in terms of what we need, they're what we need, and they're great. How many goals do you expect Jimenez to score this season? Well, I made a little video yesterday. You may have seen it on the channel about what to expect from Wolves this season, and trying to pick the top goal scorer was quite difficult because we're not going to have somebody who scores 20, 30 goals this season. But it's going to be, I think Jimenez will chip in with between 7 and 10 this season. So, Ben Chilwell is he from Leicester? We won't sign him. I'd rather have a whole team contributing goals rather than just have one player that we rely on. Yeah. Have you got a fantasy league team? If so, which Wolves players have you picked? I went for Neves, Neves and Jota. Well, if you went for Neves, I'm afraid you're not going to win many points because he's not very good for fantasy points. For some reason, my phone's not letting me log in. But I've gone for Patricio in my team. I've gone for Jota. And did I go for Bolly as well, maybe? I think I definitely had 2, maybe 3. Maybe 3. Would you rather Wolves win the Champions League or England won the World Cup? If you know me at all, Wolves to win the Champions League every time. What are your thoughts? Somebody just asked me about the Everton score prediction. It's really difficult to predict a score anyway. If you've been a subscriber to the channel for a long time, I never predict in my previews of games. I don't predict the scores because you end up just with egg on your face if you try and do that because you won't get it right, or you might you get it right once or twice a season. But I think that we'll do well on Saturday. I think that Everton are a team in transition yet again. I think they've strengthened and they've brought quite a few decent players in, but I'm not convinced by Marco Silva. I don't think he's a particularly good manager. I think he's got a lot that he needs to improve. So yeah. Would you start Traore, Costa on Saturday? I would go for Costa purely because he's had a whole pre-season with us. He's looking really, really good and strong. And Traore's got a little bit of a knock at the moment. And so yeah, I'd have Costa. Richarlison's an interesting one. I don't know why he's cost so much money when he he hasn't scored since Christmas or before Christmas even. Who's faster, Costa or Traore? I think from what I've heard and from Football Manager stats, we're talking Traore. Costa is very, very fast though. Very, very fast. Not Wolves related anymore, but Dave Edwards is linked with Gillingham. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Gillingham. I love Dave though. I love him. Do you have this season's shirt? If so, which one? Do you know what? I went into the club shop on Monday and I had to go in again today. And I looked at the home kit and I really don't like it. I haven't had a home kit for a couple of years because the money shop, I didn't agree with that. But I was looking forward to buying an Adidas top, but I didn't. I couldn't get it. It just looks horrible. And I think the away top was full of like XXLs. So I didn't bother. I bought some jogging bottoms and a nice hoodie, training top. For Wolves to be a top 10 club, eventually we can't be worried about players playing well and not getting into an ever evolving team. We hopefully progress each season as City have. Is Bright good enough? I don't think so. I've talked about him quite a lot. Eni Bakari, he doesn't add that. Yeah, right, okay. I won that in a raffle. That's a signed shirt. I didn't buy it, so I didn't give any money to Money Shop. So yeah. Best signing we've made so far. I think it's either between Patricio and Moutinho, purely because I think Moutinho will rub off so well on Neves and Gibbs White and those younger players. It'd be such a influence on them that that he'll make those two into much better players than they already are. I think Patricio will win us 10 points at least by himself this year with saves. We saw Ruddy last year making, if you remember the Reading game, the Cardiff game famously, but he won us a lot of points by himself that season, last season. So hopefully Patricia will do the same there. So right, what do you think about the wing back positions? I think if we sign Zinchenko tomorrow, we're fine because we'll have Johnny, Vinagre, Doherty, and what's his name, Zinchenko. So we'll have plenty of cover if we sign Zinchenko. But yeah, we'll see. I think Zinchenko needs to sort out the mess on his head. Steve Ball was born at the wrong time. You would have scored so many goals in this team. Yeah, I think so. If we end up playing with Jota through the middle, will it be Cav, Jota, Costa, Cav, Jota, Traore? As I can't see Cav and Jota not playing in that. I think it's Costa is ahead of. I think it would be Costa, Jimenez, and Jota at the moment. I can't see Cav starting the game. He hasn't started any of the preseason games recently. He may have started some in Switzerland or in Germany, but he's more of an impact player. I do think, although Tim Spears has said, no, the club hasn't come out and said it, obviously, but apparently we don't want to sell Cavaleiro. But if Fulham or if Huddersfield came in with a bid of 10, 15 million for Cavaleiro, I'd be very, very tempted, I think, to cash in on him at the moment. But could be a controversial statement there. I don't care either way. Wooly was just going to be Chinese PR, really. Yeah, I don't think we'll sign Wooly. I think that was a bit of a rumor. We were rejected 12 and 14 million for Cavaleiro. Well, 20 then. But I think if we had an offer of 14 or 15 million tomorrow for Cavaleiro, having bought in Traore, I think it's quite possible that we would sell him. I think. Don't forget to drop a like on the stream, ladies and gents. Let's see if we can get up to 50 likes. That would be lovely. I think, does it make it more go higher up lists or stuff if you like live streams? I don't know. Or share it to all your friends and stuff. I can't believe there's loads and loads of people in here compared to last week. What position needs to be addressed tomorrow? I think they'll be addressed. I think we need another centre back and a wing back. I'd be happy with that. Particularly this Dendoncker who can play centre mid and centre back. That's good. I think I bet Cardiff will bid for Cav last minute, possibly. How do you think Dave Edwards is going to be remembered? I don't know, because we're moving so quickly now, and if we're successful this season, if we finish in the top 10 or something, a lot of those players from that team and then up till last season are going to get forgotten. The likes of, that were good players, but just, just got lost amongst the progression that we're making now. David has been one of them. Who else would be lost? All the players of the League One team, really, like Jack Price and Lee Evans and Dicko, Sacco, all that lot. I think they will eventually be forgotten because of the very, very fast progress that we're making now. Do you have a season ticket? Yes. We need to sign Kenny Miller up. Do you want Kenny Miller? He should go and play for the Albion, because then he would have done Celtic, Rangers, Wolves, Albion. Do you think that Martini will be able to play for 90 minutes? Not from what I've seen so far, but I don't think that's an issue, really. Read today in the Sun that Warnock thinks Wolves haven't improved. Okay. Yeah, he is. If you could say one thing to Moxie right now, what would you say? I would, I've said this since we got promoted. Moxie and Morgan have had such a bad deal from Wolves fans recently. I'd shake his hand and I'd say, do you know what, thanks for keeping us in the black, mate. Thanks for selling us to Fosun, because it would have been very easy to sell us to somebody else. We look at what's happening down at Villa and the Albion, sold to the first bidders, but we've been very, very lucky, and we should be we should celebrate that, definitely. Kitolano from Norway is coming in, apparently, but yeah, he'll go into the under-23s. Rui, I think he's going to wear number 11 by the looks of it. I think from the game last week, in the Villarreal game, they were all wearing their sort of squad numbers, you'd imagine. But I think we'll find out probably Friday what the squad numbers are after the transfer window closes and everybody knows where they are. Where Wolves finish this season. Have a look at my video from yesterday. Who's that? Tom Coleman. But that's probably, I'll tell you now, 8th, I reckon. How about Robbie Keane? Not now. I think there were genuine attempts to try and sign Keane in January. He wanted to come. Nuno wanted him, apparently, but it just couldn't happen. It's a shame, really. I think it would have been for people, like, he was the first really, really good player that I can remember playing for Wolves, Robbie Keane. So yeah. Neves and Moutinho, Neves and Dendoncker. Moutinho and Dendoncker. Who would you start against Everton? I think it'd be Neves and Moutinho, because they played. They've played together now through. Because they played together through pre-season, I would play Neves and Moutinho. Moutinho looked a lot better in the Villarreal game compared to the Derby game, so he's getting there. He's certainly getting there. Will he go to all the away games this season? I hope. Well, I won't be able to go to all of them, but yeah, as many as I can. You heard of Danger Mouse? I hear Wolves are a very dangerous threat to the top 6 league teams. Maybe not the top 6 just yet. Not just yet. Who do I think will start in the wing-back positions? Depends on who we sign tomorrow. If Zinchenko comes in, I think Zinchenko could go straight into the team. He's played a lot in pre-season for Manchester City, so he's in form. He's fit. So I would throw him straight in, and I think I'd probably go for Johnny on the right back and put Doherty on the bench, which would be very harsh on Doherty, but I think Johnny's stronger, faster, a better defender. So we'll see. Top 6 in order. I did make a Premier League video, but I've definitely got it wrong. I think I went for Chelsea in 6th, Man United in 5th, Arsenal 4th, Man City 3rd, Liverpool 2nd, and Tottenham to win the league. I know that that's not going to happen, but somebody's got to say something different, aren't they? Everybody's saying Man City to win the league. Boring. What do you think of Wolves being the most hated club in Portugal? I've heard mixed reports about that. Lots of Portuguese people like that we're sort of giving players like Jota and Neves and Vinagre, young Portuguese players, this platform to play at top levels because it will inevitably improve their national team eventually. But but there's the other side of it that with the sign of Moutinho and Patricio, they don't like that side of it. They don't like that we're taking their best players from their league. But we haven't, well, not from their league because Moutinho wasn't in the Portuguese league. What am I talking about? But I think it's a bit of sensationalism from the Sporting Lisbon president or former president. I'm not really sure what's going on there, to be honest. Anyone think Neves is injured? No. Right, a lot of comments coming in now. Who's your least favourite player at Wolves? At the moment, there isn't anybody who I don't like. That's all. I really like all of them. There's a couple of players who frustrate me, like Bright. Spears has just tweeted Dendonka deal to be done tonight. That was earlier on, wasn't it? That tweet. Hi Tom, have you read Michael Petelenga's book Viva Nuno? If yes, what do you think of it? I still haven't read it. It's on my phone in an ebook form. I haven't read it yet. I'm going to try to before the summer is over. What's your fantasy league pin? It's in the description down below. If you're watching this video later as well, it's down there. Messi, Ronaldo. I always said Messi up until this last World Cup, and I didn't like the way he was stropping and sulking and walking around. I thought it was horrible. He wasn't a team player, whereas Ronaldo dragged Portugal through that group stage, and really changed my mind about it. Article says that the teams management in Portugal don't like Wolves, not the fans or reporters. Well, that's why then we're not hearing about that. Would you like to see Wolves sign Reyes, Mexican free agent defender? I don't know. We need another. Well, it'll be I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. If we sign Dendonka, maybe that doesn't mean that maybe that means that our business is done and we don't need to sign anybody more defensively. Ronaldo or Neves? Today, Neves, because of his youth. If I was going to sign a player, I'd sign Neves. But in his prime, I can't see Neves being better than Ronaldo. But they're difficult. They're different positions anyway. It's like comparing chalk and cheese. Edin Dzeko for a season. I don't think he fits the way that we play. Does he? I don't know. Not really. Seen Everton's new stadium plan, making a home end one tier like Dortmund's yellow wall. Spurs have gone for that as well, haven't they, with their new ground. Gaz Hunt says, I'm backing Wolves to do a Leicester. Is that Leicester in their first year in the Premier League or Leicester in the second year in the Premier League? How many years until Morgan properly breaks into the first team, in your opinion, Tom? I think at the end of this season, I think if we guarantee our safety around about March, I would throw him into the team then and make him start every game. And then next season, I think he'd break in all the time. If you think he'll turn 19 this year, and he said it'd be 20 next year, and where we want to be then, if he can keep up with that, if he can keep up and be the top 6 sort of player that we hope that we will have, yeah. with all the other GLS clubs complaining Wolves won't get fined, will they? No, we haven't done anything wrong. I think, and if we do get fined, what's a fine to Fosun? It's going to be a drop in the ocean. What about John Joe Shelvey? Nah, we don't need him, do we? He's good at spraying passes out, but look at the passing that we've got from midfield there with Neves and what's the other one? Moutinho. And Cody even can spray the ball better than John Joe Shelvey now. So, but he's going to get receptions. When do we play Newcastle at home? February. We play Newcastle, so that'll be an interesting game. Who should take pens or free kicks if Neves is out? Well, Neves shouldn't take penalties. I'll tell you that. I'll be interested if we get a penalty on Saturday. I'd be very interested to see who takes it. I wouldn't let Neves take it. We've seen Costa take them, Cavaliero's taken them, Bonatini's taken them. Jimenez, I imagine, can probably take them. I think somebody said that he was Benfica's penalty taker last year, so that'd be fine. Neves should always be taking free kicks for right footers, no doubt about that. But then we've lost our left-footed dead ball specialist, haven't we? So we need to have somebody who can do that. Thank you, Jeff Sponge, enjoying the live stream. Thank you very much. Fabregas. We're not going to be able to get Fabregas, are we? We're going to smash any of the top six. Do you know what? We got Man United early on, haven't we? When's that? Middle of September. And if they carry on the way that they're doing now in pre-season, if they continue in this negative and Mourinho whinging and moaning, we could definitely beat them. Maybe not smash them, but we could definitely get a bit of a result there. Rafa Mir's already gone. Yeah, a few people correcting that. Great. Neves wants goals from inside the penalty box, obviously. Where are you originally from? I'm from here. Right, let's move on to the game on Saturday then for the last 10 minutes or so. Somebody's already mentioned it. Score prediction. Now, I'll do a proper review on the game on Friday, afternoonish, evening time. But yeah, I think I'm not going to make a score prediction, but I'll tell you that I'm really looking forward to the game. I think there's going to be a lot of there's a lot to be excited about. It doesn't feel like it. I can remember the first games that we played back in the Premier League in the past against Blackburn when we lost 5-1, and against West Ham when we lost 2-0, and that turned out to be a terrible result because West Ham ended up getting relegated that season. So it doesn't feel like. I remember Mick McCarthy saying before that we're a championship team this year who have been invited to the Premier League. Well, that doesn't mean we haven't said anything like that. We're a Premier League team now, and we're acting like a Premier League team. We've been an ambitious Premier League team, and we've got consistent. We're consistent from last year into this year. We haven't had to completely, although we've signed 10 or 11 players, it's not like we're completely replacing the first team, and that's the sort of thing that we didn't do in the past anyway. We didn't add quality to the depth of the squad. Remember last time that we went up, we signed players like Nenad Milias and Mancien, players that didn't really inspire you. So I'm hoping that consistency that we've got compared to Everton's transition period that they're going through yet again, and the manager that I don't rate there, Marco Silva, could provide a good result. But we've got if we play like we did in the second half against Villarreal for the whole game, we will get something from Everton. But I think they could shock us in the first 20 minutes because they're a Premier League team. They've got very, very good players in all positions. They've got a very good goalkeeper, and they could lead, can they, in the at halftime, and we'll have to come out a bit more in the second half, and that could lead to us being picked off even more. We'll have to we'll have to see. Right. I think there's been a little bit of chatter there about all the fixture changes and goodbye to Saturday 3 o'clock kickoffs. I think that's gonna have to get used to that. As long as they move the home games, I don't mind the home games being moved. It's when the away games get moved to Monday nights and stuff like that. Then they're difficult to get to. It's a shame. He comes from Serbia, Ilmurdia. How long before games do you arrive at the stadium? Good half an hour or so, I think, probably. It's good for us. The nucleus of the side is still there. Everton have always struggled against pacey forwards, so I'm quietly optimistic. I heard somebody talking about them and their defence. They've still got like Jagielka, Seamus Coleman, Leighton Baines. They've got a really aging defence. If we can capitalise on that, if we can contain them in midfield and try and nick a few chances, that'd be. I think we could make something happen. We haven't lost on an opening day for ages. Let me have a little think back. So last year we beat Middlesbrough. The year before that we drew to Rotherham, having been 2-0 down. The year before that, is that the Norwich one? No. Ooh, I can't remember that first game of that season. I can't remember. Can't remember that one. We beat Norwich, didn't we, on the first game of the season? Drew to Preston in League One. We don't. At Blackburn away. Absolutely right. Was that with Dave Edwards handball? Yes, Johnny Marr. Johnny Marr's watching my live stream. Amazing. Yeah, we tend to do quite well. Well, we had a long period where we didn't do well in the first game of the season. I think up until about 2010, I want to say, and then we've done quite well in the last 8 or 9 seasons in the first game of the season. We haven't lost at home on the opening day since West Ham, and that was in 2009. I remember that, 15th of August, I think. Tremendous. Which game are you looking forward to most? So at the moment, it's the Everton game. I can't remember looking forward to a season as much as I've looked forward to this one. But on the whole, I'm looking forward to seeing Man City play. I'm looking forward to going to Tottenham's new ground. I'm looking forward to where else haven't I been? I haven't been to Chelsea before, but I'm not too bothered about going there. Do you think new signings will make the bench? I can't see. I mentioned this really early on in the stream, I think, but if Dendoncker sounds like he's going to sign today, but would you put him in the team having had 1 day's training next to Cody and with Johnny or Doherty on that? Would you put him in the middle of that, or would you give him next week to train and then put him in for the Leicester game? I think I'd be tempted to do that. I think Tottenham's up to 84 million in transfers. Since when did Wolves spend this much money? Well, we've never had this much money, so I do miss Douglas. Which Wolves fixture will be the game of the season? I can see one of the games against Newcastle being a bonkers game with goals. Did you see that journalist on Twitter say we need to get relegated to get our club back? Oh, it was that. Was it Gabriel Marcotti? He. Yeah, I haven't seen the quote. Obviously, I think he got a lot of stick, didn't he, from Wolves fans? So, yeah. No, I don't think the 84 million does include a Afobe. Yeah, just to come back to that point by Gabriel Marcotti about wanting the Wolves to get the club back. Somebody replied to him with the pictures of the town from the the trophy presentation and stuff, and just said, "Does this look like a club that's lost its fans?" We've, think about when we were last in the Premier League. That was probably the most fractious that it's been between Wolves and the fans, the club and the fans, and then the following season going down again. It was just a horrible, horrible time for the club, and yeah, it was. It's down to the work of Kenny Jackett. I think that we've got the club back, and also Fosun, I think, have done really, really well to be respectful of the traditions and the history of the club, as well as moving the club forward in a way that's unbelievable. We've got a Leeds fan here. Hello, DV4LUFC77. What kit numbers do you think Adama, Den, and Zin will have? Well, the number 3 and the number 4 are free, I believe. Barry Douglas leaving number 3 and Dye leaving number 4. So I think Zinchenko possibly number 3 and Dendonka number 4. Adama, he was wearing number 11 shirt today, but apparently that was just because that was the only shirt they had available. I'm not sure I believe that. So we'll have to see. Before this year, the best I'd seen Wolves was under McCarthy. Things are looking up. But yeah, think about that. The best it was under Mick McCarthy. Just seen on Sky Sports that Wolves to hold talk with Swansea for a midfielder. That's Sam Clucas, isn't it? Not keen on him. I still remember Wolves Rotherham in April 2014. Lots of stupid fans with pent-up energy. 6-4 to Wolves. That wasn't bad energy, though. That was positive. That was just after we'd won League One. Yeah. FIFA Mon. Just arrived to the stream. Wanted to ask what you think of Traore, Dendonka, and Zinchenko. I think if we sign all 3 of them, then that's a fantastic transfer window. And not that I know a lot about them individually. I know Traore is very fast and very strong and great. And yeah, we haven't signed them yet, but I think it's pretty much agreed from the reporters who've put it on Twitter that they will sign. 3 pitch invasions, yeah. My favourite one was when the ball hit the side netting, if you remember that one. I think it was 5-4 at the time. The ball hit the side netting, everybody ran on, and then we scored a 6th. I think it was all good fun, wasn't it? I think we still need a striker. Is that what we're supposed to say? I don't think we're not that desperate for a striker, I don't think. We know all the different attacking options that we've got. I think it's fine. How close are we going to get to the top 6? So I've seen a lot of neutral pundits predict us to get sort of 7th or 8th. I've gone for 8th. I think that's been very generous. But if you look at our squad and you look at the experience they've got, you look at the youth and the potential that they've got, if they can carry on the way that they did last year, if Nuno can manage all the egos that there'll be and all the problems that will occur, and we will lose games. We'll lose consecutive games this year that we didn't last year, and I think it's possible that we could break into the top 6, but it's not likely. Is West Ham the club that we should be compared to? In terms of what? Is Premier League experience an issue? I would say no, because of other top level experience that we've got. You've got Patricio, who's got 70 odd caps for Portugal, has won various trophies in Portugal. You've got Moutinho's won a trophy every year, bar one in his 13-year career. So I don't think that Premier League. And we've got Matt Doherty, who played about 6 games in the Premier League back in 2012. So that's I think that's fine. Yes, I do remember you. I think. I can't quite see a picture. How many goals do you expect Bonatine to end up with? about 5 or 6, not many. Yes, I did. I saw that picture in from Sky Sports. There's some sort of supercomputer that had judged Wolves to be finishing bottom of the table this season. I can't see that happening. I think there's players like teams like Cardiff and Huddersfield and Bournemouth and Watford and Southampton and Crystal Palace, who I think that we are definitely better than, if not more. I think we're better than more and more of them. I think if it was last year's, people have said, if it was last year's Premier League, we'd definitely finish in the top 7. But it's this year's, and this year's is going to be a bit tougher. I saw a post with a supercomputer that predicted us to come 7th. Well, yeah, as somebody says there just below you, you can't really rely on stats alone. Yeah, nobody would have ever, no computer in the world would have predicted Leicester to win the league 2016. So yeah, we'll just see. We're on the crest of a wave, and if we can keep on riding that until May next year, perhaps we'll win the title. You've kept Benick over Leo? No, I think Bonatini fits the style of play that we play, and if he can improve on last year, I think he'll do well. Only just joined the stream, but it's been already asked. But any truth to Den Donkey? Yeah, apparently he's been in Compton. He's done his medical this evening, apparently. So that should be announced first thing in the morning, a similar time to the Traore one that was done this morning. Imagine if we do Leicester. Just imagine. Everton prediction: many pyrotechnics, sprinting Nuno and the Liquidator approximately 76 times, even when the stadium's empty. I think the Liquidator is going to come back. I can't really remember it being played at the Molineux in my lifetime, but it'll certainly be something that gets the crowd going on Saturday if it is played. Do we think we'll buy again in January? Well, it depends on how the season's going. Obviously, if we're looking like we're struggling for goals or something, I can't see any sort of weakness in the squad, barring injuries. I think there'll be more outgoings than incomings in January. We'll see. Yeah, I've heard that Kurzawa from PSG a few times. Yeah. Anyway, I've been here for an hour now. Really enjoyed it. Lots and lots of people again today. Unbelievable amount of people, really. Make sure you drop a like on the stream now. There'll be another one. Oh, no, there's not one next Wednesday. Very, very sorry to everybody. I'll have to do it on Thursday because I'm at a wedding on Wednesday next week. So unless you want one from from a wedding, you'll have to wait until Thursday. So it's going to be a Wolves Thursday next week. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching. If you're watching this later, I know that some people watch it back after the event, which is lovely. Tell a couple to wait. I know it's inconsiderate, isn't it? Perhaps I'll try and sneak away. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video, etc., etc. Good night, everybody.